Under the blinding lights of Osaka's Edion Arena, a storm is waiting to explode. The night feels electric, the kind of energy that can only come before violence, glory, and history. Thousands of Japanese fans chant in rhythm, waving red and white flags for their hometown hero, Tomoki Kameda, the polished technician, the youngest of Japan's fighting brothers, now walking toward destiny. His eyes are calm, but behind that calm lies pressure, the weight of his name, his nation, and the pride of fighting on home soil. And across from him stands a man whose fire cannot be contained. John Riel Cuadro Alas, Casimero, the Filipino warrior known for chaos. No entourage, no fear, no hesitation, just swagger, danger, and that trademark grin that hides a volcano of aggression. Casimero has fought around the world, often as the outsider, always as the storm that no one can predict. He carries the hunger of a man who's had to earn everything with his fists. The arena grows louder as the announcer calls their names, the air vibrating with tension. Casimero stares across the ring, bouncing lightly, eyes locked. Kameda stands upright, adjusting his gloves. The bell rings. Round 1. The feel-out begins. Kameda's jab pierces the air, sharp and clean, as Casimero stalks, measuring distance. The contrast is striking. Technique versus unpredictability. Casimero switches angles, feinting wildly, throwing from impossible positions. The crowd gasps each time his power grazes the target. Kameda's counters are crisp but cautious, his rhythm interrupted by Casimero's movement. As the seconds tick away, a faint smirk spreads across Casimero's face. He's not here just to compete, he's here to conquer. And in that look, you can feel it. The chaos is coming. The second round begins with sharper intent. Kameda takes the center of the ring, his posture elegant, every move calculated. He's a man raised in the art of Japanese discipline, patient, focused, built to break opponents with timing and control. His jab slices through the air like a fencer's blade, landing with surgical accuracy. The crowd applauds each clean connection, believing in their champion's poise. But Casimero is a different creature. He doesn't follow rhythm. He destroys it. He stalks from unpredictable angles, crouching low, bouncing side to side, grinning after every exchange. His hands drop, his head slips, his eyes burn with mischief. It's not boxing to him, it's war, and he fights with the reckless confidence of a man who's tasted pain and learned to love it. Midway through the round, Kameda throws a perfect 1-2, snapping Casimero's head back. The arena erupts. Kameda. The Japanese fans rise in unison, their fighter seemingly in control. But Casimero only laughs. He beats his chest, inviting more. Kameda tries again, same combo, and this time, Casimero counters with a thunderous right hook that explodes off Kameda's guard. The sound echoes, gasps, ripple through the arena. For a brief second, Kameda feels the danger, that raw, explosive power that has made Casimero a world champion in multiple divisions. The tide of the fight shifts slightly. The crowd still cheers, but there's tension now. They've seen the storm hiding behind that smile. As the bell ends round 2, Casimero turns toward his corner, raises his glove, and smirks at the camera. He mouths a few words in Tagalog, words that only one meaning carries. You can't run forever. The atmosphere grows heavy. Respect turns to fear. The storm is building. Round 3 opens, and immediately the temperature rises. Kameda tries to stay composed, circling, using his footwork to maintain range. His jab flicks like a metronome, steady and sharp. But there's something different now. His rhythm is breaking. Casimero's movement, wild and unpredictable, is forcing Kameda to think too much. The Filipino's feints are constant. A shoulder dip here, a step in there. And every time Kameda bites, Casimero grins wider. Casimero starts to find his timing. He slips under a jab, launches a left hook to the body. Thud. The sound cuts through the arena. Kameda winces but keeps his composure. Another body shot lands. Then a looping overhand right grazes Kameda's head, and suddenly the Japanese corner is on edge. Casimero is getting closer, and when he gets close, chaos follows. Halfway through the round, Kameda tries to reassert control. He throws crisp combinations, but Casimero walks through them, taunting, smirking, and landing heavier counters. The crowd begins to feel uneasy. They've seen this before. A slow, patient breakdown turning into destruction. Casimero's punches aren't just landing, they're hurting. Then, with 20 seconds left, Casimero explodes. A wild exchange erupts near the ropes. Hooks from both sides, crowd screaming. And Casimero ends it with a sharp right hand that snaps Kameda's head back. The bell saves him, but the message is delivered loud and clear. As they walk to their corners, Kameda's breathing deepens. His trainer speaks urgently, while across the ring, Casimero laughs, pointing toward the Japanese corner, saying something with that devilish grin, "You can't dance forever." The fans fall silent, sensing the shift. The storm isn't coming anymore. It's here. Round 4 begins with a thunderous roar from the crowd. The Japanese faithful urge their hero to push back. Kameda raises his guard, circling to his left, determined to regain control. He flicks out quick jabs, mixing in short combinations to keep Casimero honest. For a moment, it works. Kameda's rhythm returns, his timing crisp again. A clean right hand lands flush, and the arena explodes in cheers. But Casimero doesn't flinch. He absorbs, grins, and stalks forward. The kind of grin that chills the spine. He waves Kameda in, taunting him to throw more. Casimero's eyes gleam like a man who's waiting for the perfect opening. Midway through the round, the atmosphere thickens. The tension is suffocating. Casimero lowers his stance, bobbing and weaving, loading up like a coiled spring. Kameda jabs, steps back, then pivots, trying to stay disciplined. Yet every second feels like borrowed time. Casimero's rhythm is now his weapon, unpredictable, explosive, magnetic. Then, in an instant, the crowd gasps. Casimero explodes with a leaping left hook. It catches Kameda high on the temple. His legs shake. Casimero smells blood. He storms in, firing a barrage, hooks, uppercuts, looping bombs from impossible angles. Kameda backs into the ropes, guard tight, trying to survive the onslaught. The bell rings just in time, and the referee steps between them. Kameda stumbles back to his stool, breathing heavy. His corner splashes water on his face, shouting instructions. His eyes are distant. Casimero, meanwhile, stands in his corner, hands on the ropes, staring coldly across the ring like a predator watching its prey recover. The fans chant desperately, "Kameda, Kameda," but deep down, they know the storm isn't passing. It's only gaining strength. Round 5 begins like the eye of a storm, calm on the surface, but fury underneath. Both men meet in the center of the ring, sweat glistening under the arena lights. Kameda tries to reassert himself, relying on pure boxing IQ. His jab becomes busier, snapping into Casemiro's guard. The crowd comes alive again, cheering every sharp strike. But Casemiro doesn't just fight with skill. He fights with spirit. He weaves under the jab and throws a ripping right to the ribs that lands like a hammer. The sound echoes. Kameda winces, and Casemiro sees it. He presses forward, laughing through his mouthpiece, throwing hooks that whistle through the air. The energy shifts again. The Filipino warrior is feeding off chaos, his favorite weapon. Kameda's discipline begins to fade. He's drawn into Casemiro's rhythm, a dangerous dance. Midway through the round, Kameda lands a clean left hook, a perfect counter. The crowd erupts, but Casemiro shakes it off instantly, firing back with a flurry that sends sweat flying from Kameda's head. The fans gasp. It's turning into a battle of wills now. The pace is savage. Kameda tries to box smart, but Casemiro drags him into a brawl every time. Short uppercuts, chopping hooks, Casemiro's unpredictability is overwhelming. Even the commentators can't look away. You can't predict him, one says. Casemiro fighting like a storm, wild but controlled. As the bell rings, Kameda walks back slowly, shoulders heavy. His precision is starting to crumble under the weight of Casemiro's aggression. Across the ring, Casemiro grins, nodding to the crowd, shouting something in Tagalog that the arena doesn't understand. But everyone feels it. It means, you're mine now. The war isn't just physical anymore. It's psychological. And Casemiro. Round 6 opens with intensity flooding the air. Kameda's corner has told him one thing: don't trade. But as soon as the bell rings, instincts take over. Pride takes over. He meets Casemiro in the center once again, a brave but dangerous decision. The Japanese fans roar, their voices echoing through the rafters. Casemiro bounces on his toes, eyes locked, hands twitching with anticipation. He's not chasing anymore. He's hunting. Kameda jabs, pivots, trying to regain control. But Casemiro cuts the ring beautifully, cornering his opponent, forcing him to fight his fight. And then the storm breaks. Casemiro launches a thunderous right over the top. It lands flush. Kameda's knees dip. The crowd gasps as he stumbles backward. Casemiro charges forward, firing hooks to the body, uppercuts up the middle, punches coming from angles that defy logic. Each one lands with intent. Kameda's guard wavers. His composure cracks. The referee watches close. Kameda fires back, pure instinct now, trying to hold his ground. A left hook of his own lands clean, but Casemiro walks through it, smiling, nodding, feeding off the impact. His energy seems endless, fueled by pride and fury. By the final 30 seconds, Kameda is bleeding from a cut above his eye. Casemiro backs him into the ropes again, lands a huge right hand that sends sweat flying in slow motion. The arena is chaos, half in awe, half in disbelief. The bell saves Kameda. But as he slumps into his corner, his body language says it all. Casemiro doesn't sit between rounds. He stands, pacing like a caged animal, eyes locked across the ring. He knows what's coming next. He's about to finish what he started. Round 7 begins under a storm of noise. The crowd is on its feet, half screaming for Kameda to hold on, half gasping at Casimiro's relentless assault. The air is thick with adrenaline and disbelief. This is no longer a tactical boxing match, it's survival. Kameda's face tells the story. Swollen cheeks, a thin stream of blood tracing down his brow. But the Japanese warrior refuses to back down. He steps forward, throwing sharp combinations, desperate to reclaim respect. His punches land, but Casimiro barely blinks. The Filipino's grin has turned cold, focused, the grin of a man who knows he's in total control. Casimiro presses forward, shoulders twitching, hands low, taunting. Then he unleashes a brutal left to the body, a looping right to the head, and another vicious left hook that sends Kameda stumbling back. The crowd gasps in unison. Casimiro follows with precision. Not wildness now, but calculated aggression. Every punch is a statement. This is my ring. Midway through the round, Kameda tries to clinch, but Casimiro shoves him off, firing a right uppercut that snaps his head back. The referee steps in, checking closely. Kameda's balance is fading. His corner shouts instructions, desperation in their voices. Casimiro steps back for a moment, raises his gloves, and nods towards the crowd as if to say, "Watch this." He moves in again, head movement, shoulder roll, and boom, another right hand crashes through Kameda's defense. The sound echoes like thunder. Kameda holds, survives, somehow still standing. The bell ends the round, but the silence that follows says it all. Casimiro walks to his corner without looking back. He knows it's over. The final bell was near, but the war inside the ring was far from over. Casimiro, his eyes burning with the pride of a nation, knew he had one more chance to end it in his own way. The sound of the crowd had become a storm of voices, half chanting Casimiro, while the others screamed Kameda. The arena had transformed into a cauldron of emotion, a battleground of wills. Every second felt eternal. Every punch carried the weight of legacy. Kameda, blood tracing the edge of his brow, bit down on his mouthpiece. He came forward once more, his combinations flying like lightning. But Casimiro had tasted the rhythm, read the pattern, and now he was ready to write his ending. As Kameda lunged, Casimiro stepped aside, his right hand coiled like a whip. Then it struck. A thunderous hook cracked against Kameda's jaw, sending shockwaves through the arena. Kameda stumbled, his knees buckled, and the referee leapt in between them. Casimiro raised his gloves to the heavens, his face reflecting a mix of relief and triumph. The referee waved it off, technical knockout. The Filipino warrior had done it again. He didn't just win, he stole the moment. The crowd erupted into chaos. Fans waved flags, tears rolled down faces, and Casimiro stood at the center of it all, shirtless, roaring with pride, his nation's flag wrapped around his shoulders. His journey from the dusty gyms of Ormoc to the bright lights of Tokyo had reached another glorious peak. As the camera zoomed in, Casimiro looked into the lens and shouted words of gratitude to his people. Mabuhay ang Pilipinos echoed through the arena. The lights dimmed, the ring flooded with celebration, and the story of two warriors, bound by pain, power, and pride, came to a close. This wasn't just a fight. It was a message, a reminder that greatness isn't born, it's forged